If you've been obsessing over fonts, colors, logos, but haven't launched your business yet, this one is for you. You don't need a perfect brand to start. You need a clear message that moves the right woman to take action. Welcome back to the Lady Icon Life podcast. I'm Coco, and today we are talking about one of the most common traps I see smart, capable women fall into, and that is using branding as a distraction from building. In this episode, I will help you shift out of that perception and into progress so your business can finally start doing what it is meant to do: create change, create income, and create options for you. So let's start with this idea of the branding trap. You've been told that your brand needs to stand out. So you keep tweaking your logo, changing your Instagram bio, debating which shade of beige makes you feel more aligned with your company brand. But let's be honest, you're using this branding to procrastinate. This isn't judgment. I've been there. I have done that. I have spent 3 months developing my brand before I even felt comfortable to show it to a friend or my husband. And that was a complete distraction because I thought it had to be perfect or it wouldn't be any good and I wouldn't be successful. All right. So this is not a judgment. This is a pattern. We obsess over the visual because it feels safer than us having to show up, right? Because if the brand isn't ready, then we don't have to be ready either. And this for me was one of the biggest cycles that I kept myself spinning in. Well, the brand's just not ready yet. I'm working on it. I kept cycling in that loop, right? So I see you, I feel you with that. But here's the truth. The woman winning right now, they don't wait for perfect branding. They built their message first, then the brand grew with them. And growing with your brand means that it gets to evolve like we do. It gets to pivot like we do. It gets to adjust like we do. It gets to be nimble like we are. That idea that it has to be perfect, we need to wipe that out of our vocabulary. Even the most established brands in history go through updates and changes and evolve. Even ones that have been around for hundreds of years have updated and evolved. So can we in ourselves, in our brand, as we're building this iconic life together. So what your brand identity actually is. Now that we've gone over what it doesn't have to be, which is a cycle that keeps you stuck going over and over again into the tiniest detail, but not ever launching. Your brand isn't your color palette. Your brand is the promise you make to the woman you're serving. It's the feeling she gets when she scrolls your page and says, "She just gets me. I trust her." That feeling is built through a clear point of view, consistent messaging, and offers that actually solve one of her problems, even if it's a micro problem. Yes, your visuals matter, but only if your message connects first. Otherwise, it's a pretty wrapper on a product that no one understands and no one will buy. So ask yourself, what do I want to be known for? What is your unique genius? What life experience or professional attribute or problem solving have you solved? Have you been able to deduce, experience, and now want to share that no one else can touch? That is yours, right? Clear point of view. What do you want to be known for? Right? What problem do I solve better than anyone else? Right? So those goes hand in hand with each other. Your unique genius is your experiences that allow you to solve a problem in a unique way. What does my client feel when she lands in my world? That's your brand. That is all you need to be able to move forward and launch. Keeping that at the center of everything you do will ensure not only that your message is consistent, but that you're reaching the woman you can help, your $1 million ideal client. And that's who you want. That's who the messaging is for. That's what this whole thing is about. That's why you're doing what you're doing, is for her, for that one woman. You don't wait for your brand to be perfect. Your brand is in motion. You let your brand evolve as you do. Some of the most iconic businesses started with a DIY logo and a scrappy offer. But what they didn't do was wait for it to be perfect. What they didn't do was let that hold them in a vice grip of inaction, which is what happens so often. And yes, hi, my name is Coco, and this has happened to me. I have done this. Your brand gets to evolve as you do. Your brand identity will sharpen with action, but you can't evolve if you're still in planning mode. So let's stop obsessing over the polish, the varnish. Let's start building our presence. If this is you, if you've been hiding behind Canva instead of showing up with clarity, I want to invite you to shift. Your brand is a relationship. And just like in real life, you build trust by being present. Not perfect, present. Let's not forget that some of the most iconic brands in history have shown us this time and time again. Coco Chanel started out as Gabrielle making hats in a small apartment in Paris, and then moved on to athleisure wear in a small shop in the south of France. And it wasn't until the 1950s that the iconic double C logo and stark brand identity that we know now really started to be born and came into existence. And then it was completely turned on its head in the 1980s when Karl Lagerfeld took over as creative director for Chanel. It changed, and it will again. That's how it still stays relevant. Starbucks, one of the most iconic brands that we know, didn't start off as the green and white icon that we know it today. They started off as a coffee, tea, and spice company with a completely different logo that was brown and white. But they evolved as their customers did. They evolved as part of a conversation that they were having with their customers. We need to give ourselves that same grace and ability, that we do not stay stuck in this cycle of perfection, which leads to inaction, of this paralyzing fear that we're not going to have it perfect right out of the gate, so we don't want to do anything at all. It is the conversation that you get to have with your ideal client that may lead you to something you wouldn't have even considered before, or a vertical that you wouldn't have even thought to go down that was really the key part of your unique genius. Some of the most valuable conversations that you can have, the most transformative ones, aren't going to be about what color you used or what font you used or your first logo design. It's going to be about how what you are doing made people feel or changed people's lives. We need to give ourselves the same kind of grace that these icons, that these brands throughout history have shown us is the pathway to success, which is evolution. Evolution based on conversation, based on growth and change, based on understanding that this is a relationship between the client and the service or the product. The brands that have not done that have either looked at new verticals or not stood the test of time. And again, we are here to build an iconic life. We are here to build our own freedom. And that freedom comes from letting go of a lot of these bad cyclical patterns that keep us running on that hamster wheel, unable to move forward because we want to make sure that our steps don't lead us down a wrong path so we don't step at all. This is your opportunity to give yourself that grace, that kindness that we would give to our friend, that we would give to the brands that we now know and love. You can build credibility by being authentic, not by being perfect. DM me brand over Instagram at Lady Icon Life, and I'll send you my quick start worksheet if you want to understand a framework to build your brand without being overwhelmed. Again, it's something I created after buying a lot of courses and trying to build this brand for months and make it perfect, really deducing it down to what do I need to feel good about putting this out there? About putting this out there for my one woman. That's you listening to this right now. That's you. How do I put it out there for her so she can feel seen too? It's time to be seen for what you really do, not just how it looks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Lady Icon Life podcast. If this resonated with you, please let me know. If there are other topics you would like to cover, please let me know that. This is, again, a relationship. It's a conversation, and I want to hear from you. Until next time, let's get to work.